But I believe womanhood is when you mature to that level of mentality, emotionally, spiritually, to where you are no longer taking, but now you are giving. Now you are able to give something to a society, to a family, to a community, to build them up.
And to your point about, women having to kind of do more and take on more, and men not rising to their levels, I think that women have to take responsibility for the fact that they are picking those men. It's like, sure, a man could totally not be up to par with who he ought to be in Christ, but it is contingent upon me to pick well.
Come on.
It is contingent upon me to listen to the voice of God, because Lord knows if it wasn't for me listening to the voice of God and not ignoring my conscience, I would have been married by now. Probably with multiple kids, living somewhere either in the country, living somewhere, not living my best life like I feel like I'm living now on my own, because I am moving in God's timing and not my own. But I think that a lot of women blame men for not being where they need to be. It is not. We are responsible for us. I can't control any sort of man. I don't desire to control a man, but we are absolutely responsible for who we pick and choose to lay with, to bear children with. So it's just like we can't keep putting the onus on men when we are willing, physical, able creatures, and we have the choice. Free will. We got free will. God gave us free will. We have free will with God, and we also have free reign in the world to move accordingly. So I'm not about to go lay down with a man who is not walking in his God-given authority, and bear a child with you, because then that's just going to perpetuate generational hurt, generational drug addicts and alcoholics and sex addicts and all of these generational things that I am literally working my butt off now to break. I'm not about to perpetuate any of that. We're about to I'm deading all of that right now in my life. Goodness. I'll be 32 in 10 days. And I am fine with that. I am fine with being 32 and single, because I would rather be where I am now in God's timing than to be trying to create my own timeline. And then I'm just going to create a bunch of kids that have to, and that's going to turn into adults and have to then recover from their childhood. I'm not.
Listen, I did not realize growing up that this was a part of my journey. When I hit a certain age, maybe about 28 or so, all the trauma and the weight that I went through hit me, fell on me, and I realized now I have a responsibility to heal from it. And get this, I healed from it on my own without the people who caused the trauma. They didn't help me heal from it.
Yeah.
And so when you said, I don't want my children to have to be almost delivered from the things that they've been through as a child, that is such an important statement, because a lot of the relationships that we're in, the roles that we provided for our children to travel, it ain't really healthy. A lot of it in our culture is not really healthy. And you don't want to recreate your own brokenness. That's the thing. And I think that's a big part of womanhood. Coming into your own and really being set free, choosing to be free. Yes. That's the thing. Because you said we all have a choice. It's just like we have a choice to choose our mate. We have a choice to either stay broken in a certain situation or go forward and seek healing. And so, anything else you want to say to that?
Well, no, I just have a question though. When you say you turned 28 and the weight and the brunt of your trauma hit you, what do you think was the domino effect that kind of made that spiral that way?
You know what? So at 20, right before I turned 27, I moved from my home state where the trauma took place. And when I moved here, I moved with my family, my sister and her husband and their kids.
Loving people.
Yes, loving people was the first real safe place that I've ever had in my entire life.
Wow.
At 20,
you found stability at 27.
I found stability. So this is what I learned. When you're in trauma, when you're in the atmosphere that is breaking you down, you can't really see that you actually need healing. You don't even know, because you're just engorged in it, and it's your normal. It's normal to you. And so when I got out of it and I got around loving people, healed people, they were showing me things like, this is brokenness. Okay, you responded to me like mom does. And my mom hasn't always responded in the best way. I love my mom, an OG, okay? Born on the west side of Chicago. You know what I'm saying? But she took a lot of that fighter in her. It stayed, and so she raised children that way. And so I learned how to cut people.
With your words?
With my words.
I suffer.
I guess I didn't cut people in real life. You know what I'm saying? But I learned how to cut people with my words. And so my responses would be really like a cut. Like I could be like that too. And
Healing from that myself. I kid you
Yes. And so when I got into that atmosphere and they were showing me it was a safe place, I was able to let my guard down. And once I saw things in my heart for what it really was, I began to realize, like, man, all this stuff was a hot mess. Like, all the stuff that I've been through, the pains and stuff, oh, that's real trauma in there.
Yeah.
And so I was starting to think about everything I've been through, how my experience was with my dad, my mom, just my upbringing.
Yeah.
And it was a weight. But it was a necessary weight because I know I needed to heal.
Girl.
I know I needed to identify it first, okay, and then heal through it. And so 28 was the first time I got into counseling.
Okay.
And it was the best experience I've ever encountered because she really helped me process the feelings and the thoughts. Sometimes family, they're not equipped for that, and that's okay. Everybody's not a psychologist.
Right.
And they also can be biased a little bit.
Sure. Because maybe they want to defend the person if you all are related.
Yeah.
They want to kind of be more defensive even, or defend the people, like I said. So I get that. Yeah. But one thing I see, because I got this very unique way, and I literally can only credit it to God. Yeah. I have a unique way of being able to see the glass half full and not half empty. Okay. So in my mind, the more trauma that came up for me, and the more I grew closer to God, the more I realized that it takes a very special person. Like, I think that God has to have immense favor on someone to even take the time to deliberately show them what is traumatizing them, what's stopping them, what's slowing them down. So for all these years that I've been healing, I've always been comforted with the fact that that's favor in God. Because imagine how many people are twice our age who don't even recognize. They don't have the wherewithal to see. And so not only did they have children that they're traumatized, they're traumatizing their children continuously. Their children have had children, and their children are now traumatizing their grandchildren. And it is generational. So I literally feel like God has not wanted me to get married yet. God has not wanted me to have children yet, because he needs me to be where he needs me to be so that he can truly put me in alignment with my destiny. I don't want to be, the type of person who is like, okay, I got married at this stage in my life and I was here. It's like, no, God, get me where you need me to be, regardless of how long that may take. So I just think that it's such a blessing. I see the same thing for you. The fact that God has started to deliver you at 28 and painted this path for you where it's like you can see things clearly. That is a privilege and a blessing from God. That is favor in God, that he would even do such a thing. Because a lot of people walking around here, they gonna go to their grave, God rest their souls, in advance, traumatized, without even being able to have the privilege of figuring it out. Yes. So we're blessed.
We are,
because we don't have children yet that are gonna be traumatized. Like we're fixing it now.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that's a big part of womanhood, being able to correct. Because I think women are pillars in families. I think that men are the providers and never strength, but women are pillars. Like a friend of mine always says, "Are you the Michelle? If Barack didn't marry Michelle, would you? And he married like someone like you, would you have been the Michelle for him to help catapult him to where he needs to be?" And ever since he asked me that, I always just thought, like, am I the best me that I can be to help propel my man to where God desires for him to be? Women are pillars. And I say that to say, I think it's going to take a lot of us women, mounting up together and independently between us and God to really break down some of these generational curses, some of these barriers, roadblocks, all of these different things. It really is going to take us praying and moving the needle.
And breaking down these wrong ideologies or these wrong roles. Because I think a lot of us think that a woman is such and such. A lot of women, and I know you can relate, cook, clean. And first off, we associate womanhood specifically to just being with a man. If you don't have a man, then you're not a woman yet. That's one of the things that got me. I got into a relationship in 7th grade, and it was downhill from there because I had no training. I had no understanding of womanhood. I had no understanding of relationships. I had no understanding about sex. And so I got into sex at an early age, at age 15. And so I just didn't know what womanhood was, but I didn't even allow myself to even get there. I thought a part of, if I had a relationship or I was with some dude that made me woman. I found my identity in a whole nother human being.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? In an actual guy. And I think we have to break down that ideology as well. Your womanliness or what makes you a woman has nothing to do with the actual another human being.
Facts.
It has nothing to do with your status.
Yeah.
If you're single, or if you're married, or if you have a lot of money, or you don't, or whatever you wear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'll say this. I'm going to go into like our examples of womanhood. But I'll say this. Womanhood is only given to you by God.
Yeah.
God makes a woman and God makes a man.
Yeah.
Because you can be and that really comes by submitting your life to God. But you can be, like I said, a female. You have all the body parts. You have the organs to produce a baby, like many do. You have breasts and all that stuff. But you can be a female to the day you die and never graduate or never mature into womanhood. Because a female, or we can say a girl, she thinks it's all about her.
Yeah.
I need the money. I need this. If you're not in my life to give me some bands, if you're not in my life to give me a car, if you're not in my life to do something to make me feel good, so I can look cute on Instagram posting these pictures, then you don't need to be in my life. It's a selfish mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like a me.
It is. It's a selfish mindset. Okay, you get it. Mindset. And so we have to learn to graduate from that and really understand what womanhood is. And we're going to be sharing that.